Reds.
This is going to be fun to
This is Wrestling with My Thoughts. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Wrestling Podcast for the Wrestling Fan. Wrestling with My Thoughts here on the DFPN. Real quick, shout out to our sponsors. Get the plugs. Go to www.gettheplugs.com. Audio Swim. Go to audioswim.com. And Premier Element UAE. Go to these sites. Shout out to our family over at Dat Feelin'. So go to the datfeelin.bandcamp.com. MRK is having MRK Mondays. So go check them out. Listen to all this music. You're in for a treat if you go there. So go to the datfeelin.bandcamp.com. Subscribe. And for as little as $3, you can get access to the entire Dat Feelin' library. Go to our Patreon. This episode will be up on our Patreon as soon as we're done. So go to patreon.com/datfeelingpodcast. Subscribe. Again, for as little as $3 a month, you can get access to all these episodes ad-free. $10 a month gets you into the drawings that we have. We should have another one coming up here soon for the members of the Wrestle With My Thoughts podcast group. I haven't forgot about you guys. I am rocking some of the new merch. If you are into the merch thing, go to Teespring, search for Dat Feelin' Podcast. You will be able to get this shirt that I am rocking. It is now available for sale. Frank D actually has one coming his way for free. Because he is a Patreon subscriber and he's also a member of that group. So if you want that shirt, go to the Patreon. If not, go to the Teespring. For the members of the group, what I'm going to do, I will be going live here sometime shortly because I'm due 2 months. So we'll have an April and we'll have a May drawing the top 10 people in the group that have been posting, commenting, putting up stuff. You will be entered into a drawing to get one of these shirts for free. So kudos to you guys for putting in all the comments and stuff. We got a loaded show for you today. We will be going over some of the happenings in the wrestling world. As you know, the Wednesday Night Wars are over, which spells some good things for both NXT and AEW. So hopefully you guys have watched tonight and have been paying attention. Wrestling's getting better. Impact did a pay-per-view this past Sunday, which we'll cover. We'll say what went on with it. We have a new season of Dark Side of the Ring, which looks absolutely incredible. People have been tweeting about it, and Khan says hi, D. So people have been tweeting about the Dark Side of the Ring new season and what that entails. So, and then we have some WWE with SCOTUS, our Blood and Guts preview, and then we'll just let it flow from there, man. So first and foremost, NXT versus AEW is no more. They both have their own standalone night, which has so far proven great for both companies. So the first week that they were alone, which was the Tuesday after WrestleMania, NXT was able to bring in over 805,000. This week they bumped it up to about 848,000. AEW started off with 1.2, dipped slightly to 1.109 million, but did a 0.37 in the 18 to 45 demographic. So still holding up strong. What do you think about this, D?
Well, first of all, Mr. Blak, Makk over there. First of all, it's great to be back here on the platform.
Yes.
You and I were supposed to do this last week.
We did.
But being a typical jabroni that you are, you decided you decided to leave the Frankster, on the side over here, on the side, and have me shucking and jiving. You know what I mean? So
that's my fault. It's my fault.
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's sure bad. We didn't get a chance to talk about Mania. We didn't get a chance to talk about
We didn't.
So
and I really wanted to talk about Mania. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
Damn right it is. But insane.
I would try not to leave you hanging no more. I promise.
Don't do that. That hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry.
If I could have force choked you all the way from here, it would have been on.
The force. So you're saying the force is not strong with you? That's what you're saying?
Oh, I'm all
on the dark side.
I'm all on the dark side.
All right.
But in saying that, look at you. Typical, like I said, a typical Makk. You got a shield, huh? Why don't you go ahead and show the belt? Yeah, go ahead.
Nah. Yeah. Story time with the champ is later.
He has this WWE WWE Universal Championship, which you can find at WWEshop.com.
It's the only championship right now in the WWE that matters, which is why I'm holding it.
Hey, I beg to differ. But moving on from that real quick. Nxt AEW ratings, it kind of went the way that I thought it was going to go to begin with, as far as the numbers going up. But I also said last time we did this, it's time for AEW to step up their game now, and they got to be more consistent with the shows. In saying that,
right,
AEW has too many train wreck segments on their show.
This is true.
They got to cut this out. If you want to be taken seriously, not as really a competitor, but as a true alternative to what they're doing in WWE, stop trying to be WWE version number 2.
I agree with that.
That's where WCW failed. Instead of them being more what they were built on with the NWA, being built on professional wrestling. When Bischoff took over, Bischoff still had an emphasis on professional wrestling, but then Bischoff also wanted to bring in the sports entertainment side of things, and that's where everything changed. AEW, They got a great product down there, a great crew of people. Just be consistent with it, because if you don't, these numbers are going to drop even further than that. TNA had good numbers back in the day too, but they couldn't maintain that. So that's what I'm saying with AEW. AEW they have the crew to do it. But one thing I will say, and I know we're going to touch on this when we talk about Rebellion, we need to start seeing more of the Impact Wrestling talent on AEW Dynamite. Because so far, I'm only seeing, when I'm looking at the show, I'm only seeing Kenny Omega on the AEW show. Or, they had Matt Hardy on there a couple of times with Private Party. And then in the front row, you see Jerry Lynn there, Tony Khan, and Tony Schiavone. And then they had Audrey out there, refereeing the other night. But where's the other side here? Why didn't Rich Swann have a chance, or Willie Mack have a chance to come over to AEW show and them get a little on Kenny? You know what I mean? It's not balanced out correctly the way it should be. And I think that may be a problem in the future. That's why it's always kind of tricky when you have companies that come together with a partnership, because somebody's got to go over, somebody's got to take the fall.
Right. Yeah, it does seem it seems a lot one-sided. And we'll touch on that a little bit in the Rebellion part of it. But it would have been great to see Rich Swann as Impact champion come over to AEW, make a little bit of noise, and it probably would have made the pay-per-view a lot more interesting had he done that, So who knows, man? As far as the championships go, we got a lot of interesting things to happen so far. And I think I might have lost him, but he'll get back in here. He's frozen. But continuing on with the AEW versus NXT ratings, he's absolutely right. They need to be more consistent, especially with all the crops of talent that they do have coming back in and doing their thing. Plus with the Red Wedding Part 2 that they did with the WWE cuts, you never know who you're going to see, and they may be bringing in more talent to Impact, which is something that I want to get his opinion on when he comes back. That would be amazing if they do what I want them to do. But with the Red Wedding Part 2 happening in WWE, a lot of interesting cuts. People do have places to go now. So with this AEW Impact stand-in that you have going on, it's going to get more interesting. But while I'm waiting on him, let's take a break real quick. We'll come back on Wrestle With My Thoughts. I'm actually going to take a 30-second, so bear with me. All right, we're back. So let me take a minute here to get him back in. He's gonna do it on his phone. So things happen, man. This is the nature of the beast here when you're doing it live. So let me get him back in. Let me get him a link to the thing. And then I'll get him back in. So, because I do want his opinion on some stuff. All right. So while we're waiting on him, we'll go back and we'll recap what we got. So again, if you're just tuning in, we did have the standalones. The ratings went up for both shows. AEW was able to keep it over 1 million. NXT is slowly reaching that point. Now, out of the weekly shows, we do have some interesting stuff going on. And here he is. Welcome back.
Yeah, what a bunch of bullshit.
It happens, man. Welcome to the nature of the beast, man.
It's right, the nature of the beast. It's a bunch of horse shit.
All right, so what I was saying while you were gone is right. That the Red Wedding that they had with WWE, right? So they had a whole bunch of cuts. And something that I did wanted to ask you pertaining to what AEW can do to be persistent. Now, Samoa Joe was one of those cuts, right?
Right.
Imagine if Samoa Joe actually goes to Impact and holds that championship. Do you think that would beef up the AEW versus Impact stance?
See, here's the thing. Samoa Joe technically had already been at Impact Wrestling, right?
Right.
So he's already been there. He was already treated a certain way when he was there. That's why he left. So why would I then go back to this company that treated me like shit in the beginning? I mean, I just saw a video on YouTube the other day about Samoa Joe and about his run in TNA. And I mean, the dude I was watching was right. Samoa Joe stopped caring at a certain point when he was over there, when he started doing the whole Nation of Violence gimmick with the tattoo on his face. He stopped caring.
Right.
Because you got to remember, it was still the Jeff Jarrett show. It was still, Double J.
AJ Styles was still rolling over there, but they put Joe in the main event Mafia, for God's sakes, which made no sense. After he had been fighting, after he had been fighting on the front line. So why would I then go back to that? But things have changed now. They got a new, Anthem's come in, bought TNA, Impact Wrestling now. Maybe things change. Maybe, they can come to some type of an agreement. But I really doubt it. I really don't think Joe is going to end up. I honestly think Joe is going to end up in AEW.
I think so too. But I would like to see him at least, because the management is different. His run wasn't that great in the TNA Impact, but new management, and I think he's at a point where the company can stand with him as the front man, possibly champion. Him versus Kenny Omega would be a fucking mega hit.
Joe versus anybody would be a mega hit.
It would be a mega hit, yeah.
It would be a mega hit with anybody that Joe wrestles if Joe can remain healthy. That's the issue.
He does.
That's the deal.
He needs to be healthy. Yeah.
Right. So now, and I think he can.
I think he can too. I wholeheartedly think he can, and I think that would be amazing with him. Now, so let's talk some Impact Rebellion.
Okay.
What did you think? What did you think of the show?
I thought the show was good for what it was. You know what I mean? But the show was built around the main event, and the main event was Omega versus Swan. That's what it was all about. Right. It was about AEW versus Impact Wrestling, AEW versus TNA. You know what I mean? Because they got the TNA Championship out there as the Kenny has all the belts. So I thought it was good for what it was. But I'd like to see, like I was talking about a little while ago, I'd like to see some of these TNA Impact guys go over on the other show now. That's what I like to see. Hey, have a one night where Scott D'Amore invades with Rich Swann, William Mack, and Eric Young and all these different guys. They just got a big cast down there now. So have these guys over to the other show and bring the war over there. Then you have one big brawl. You know what I mean? You do something for Double or Nothing, where it's AEW versus Impact. It's not on the stage of, say, WWF versus WCW, but it can be done.
It can be done, yes. One match that really stood out to me in terms of what I thought was going to happen was FinJuice versus the Good Brothers for the Impact Championships, right? Tag Championships. FinJuice goes over, which
kind of shocked me.
It did. It shocked me. They went over. Yeah. They won. Yeah. So this was a telltale sign, right? This was a telltale sign. Where does New Japan Pro Wrestling stand in the grand scheme of things?
That's the answer.
Right. If this wasn't hey, this shit's about to kick off, I don't know what is, because those guys are signed to New Japan. They do hold the Impact Tag Team Championships. They can be defended in Japan. So is this the telltale? Like, hey, New Japan's in the mix now. We have a working relationship with New Japan.
Here's the thing. And I give Anthem all the credit in the world. Anthem management is pretty much trying to erase the wrongs that TNA did with New Japan Pro Wrestling when they brought in Shinsuke Nakamura and they brought in Okada and all these different guys. They treated Okada like a jabron. You know what I mean? So New Japan never forgot that. So basically, what they did is it's like you go buy a house, you got to put the earnest money on it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing here. New Japan sends over their talents. TNA put that earnest money on them and say, hey, here's our belts. We want to make good. We want to have this relationship. And that's where you got it. So how you got AEW working with Impact, AEW working with New Japan, all three of you. We could have a huge situation on our hands. And it would be a bigger situation if a fourth entry was to get involved, and that fourth entry would be Ring of Honor.
That would be amazing. That would really be amazing. Here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Since FinJuice holds the title, and it can be defended in Japan,
right?
They could possibly lose these belts to God.
I already know you're going. Yeah, I knew that's where you're going. Yeah,
they could lose those belts to God.
Right.
And boy, if they do, if they do, I'm almost begging for this to happen. Like, please let this happen.
Well, it's a dream match.
It is
to see the Good Brothers take on the God.
Yeah,
and to have the interplay with the Bullet Club, which is still around. They're not. I think COVID has kind of dropped them down a little bit as far as the popularity of Bullet Club. I think that's what's happened.
Yes,
but Bullet Club is still there.
Yeah, this version of the Bullet Club is not bad by any means.
No, it just it doesn't have the steam it did. When the Bucks were in it, and AJ Styles and Kenny Omega. But I mean, Omega, the Good Brothers, Don Callis, Tony Khan, they know what they got. You saw Rebellion; they were too sweet, and they know what they have. So only thing is that you get this working relationship with New Japan, then you can use the IP of the Bullet Club on the TV shows without any problems. You can have this version of the Bullet Club here with Omega, and you got this other version over here with Tama Tonga. Like, dude, we're the Bullet Club. So then you're already writing right there a possible another blood and guts match between this version of the Bullet Club against this version of the Bullet Club. Yes. It writes itself. It writes itself.
Yes. And it will be amazing. It will be really amazing.
Right.
So coming out of Rebellion, I have some questions. Because as good as I thought Rebellion was, Deonna Purrazzo retaining, FinJuice beating the Good Brothers, Kenny Omega is now the Thanos of professional wrestling. He's the belt collector. Where the fuck do they go from here?
Right now, it seems to me, like I'm telling you, I've been watching it since it started, and it's been one-sided. It's only been Omega going over there, but nobody coming over here. Right. And that's where they're messing up. You got to have these guys come over there if you want to be strong. Look, you take a talent like Willie Mack. Okay, you put Willie Mack on AEW TV and let him show off his skills, which I've been watching Willie Mack for years when he was in NWA Hollywood and all that. Right. So when you take a guy like him, put him in there with one of these AEW wrestlers that he can roll with, like a Darby Allin or somebody like that, win the TNT Championship, which will be a shock. You got to have a shock factor here. You know what I mean? So I could see that happening. That's where you go with it. TNA's are Impact. We want our belts back. So how do you go get we're gonna go to your damn plaza and get the damn belts.
We need a belt. That's how we do it. We need to get us the belt. Yeah.
Right.
We need to get us the belt.
That's why I see it going. I see it going that direction with them basically squaring up with AEW. That's the only way you can. You can only go from there. Because the problem that AEW is having right now too is that AEW is a very faction-heavy product. I mean, you got the Inner Circle, you got the Pinnacle, you got QT Marshall's group, whatever they're called, you got the Dark Order, you got Matt Hardy's group. So you got a lot of different factions over here that at one time or another, and then you got the Elite. I forgot. So you got all these different factions that eventually they got to come together for the greater good. We got to do these Impact guys. And it's kind of like, at the same time, it's like Anderson and Gallows, they're kind of playing both sides here. They're contracted to Impact, but they rolling with Omega. That means they're rolling with Tony Khan. So what is Impact going to do? Hey, we bring in the God to help us against them.
That would be that would be big money.
Yeah, so
that would be big money.
That's all you can do. You got to get reinforcements. You got to bring in all these other different talents they have over there. I mean, hell, James Storm. Put James Storm over there. James Storm on AEW TV. Let them go out there and do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways you can go with it. There's so many ways that you can go with it, and it all practically writes itself. Now, I think AEW would do the smart thing and listen to the fans in this case and give us what we want. So I'm pretty sure something big is coming. It's just booking it's going to be crazy. So,
well, I mean, booking's going to be crazy, but it's also about it's only be about if New Japan can trust the Americans. Can we trust Omega? Can we trust Omega? Can we trust AEW to do the right thing? You know, can we trust Impact Wrestling to do the right thing? That's what it's going to be. And I think that with Fan Juice going over and getting those belts, they mean business. Because if they would have brought Fan Juice in there to bury them and basically get their ass beat, that would have been different. But New Japan was, we made a mistake.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Right. And I think that was a good move for Impact to let them get it over too. So I was shocked at the end of that match. I was like, holy shit. And then I was like, whoa, what is gonna happen after this?
And I will say, I've not always been a Rich Swann fan. I didn't like the gimmick. I didn't like the look. But he impressed the hell out of me the other night with that match with Omega.
Yeah, that match was great. By all accounts, that match was great.
And Omega put him down. I mean, it took 2 V triggers.
6 V triggers? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he hit him with 6 of them.
Yeah.
And it was like he wouldn't stay down. Very, very great outing for Rich Swann. And he did an interview like a couple days before that match talking about the importance of it and what he was looking to do. And out of it came a lot of believability of him doing that interview. So he made it believable. His performance definitely made it believable. And up until the end of that match, you pretty much didn't know what the hell was going to happen. So that was a great piece of storytelling in that match. Like going into the match, I was pretty sure Kenny was going over, but that interview and that match put together, I was like, hold on, like they're actually telling the story right now.
You had no choice but to put Kenny over in that situation. You had no choice.
You did.
Yeah, you had to put him over because if you didn't, people were like, "Well, who the hell is this Rich Swann?" And I'm like, you know what I mean? So you have to, you got to put him. You had to put him over. It seemed incredible to me that Rich Swann even had the Impact Championship to begin with. I mean, he was pretty much treated like a jabron in WWE when he was up for that cup of coffee. You know what I mean? So
the cup of coffee in the big time.
Yeah, the cup of coffee in the big time. You know, reaching for that quote unquote brass ring. So hey.
I mean, So he had potential. Like even in NXT, he had potential. He was a cruiserweight champion, but I don't think WWE seen him as a main guy. Not like he was at Impact. He would have never got looked at like that. Not in WWE.
No, and it all goes down to, honestly, it goes down to the look, just the way he looks. You wouldn't take him as being, and that's no knock against him. It's just you take a guy that looks like him, and I'm not going to push this guy to the main event. I don't give a fuck about his talent. You know what I mean? I'm not going to push this guy on my television. And Impact was like, no, fuck you. We're going to take this dude and we're going to do something with him. Exactly.
Yeah, and
he beat Moose. He beat Moose to win. That's another guy, Moose, that can fit into this equation and go over there and fight, to fight AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because what's happening here, you also have to realize eventually Impact Wrestling is going to have to start having an audience in their shows. Okay, so the fans are going to come back eventually. All right, hopefully sooner rather than later. So what you got to have here is who's going to be the heels and who's going to be the faces of this situation. Because if AEW is invading Impact, they're going to like the bad guys. If Impact invades AEW, they're going to like the bad guys. But if you got New Japan coming in and wants to kick both their asses, there you go.
Yep. Well, yeah, you can have them squabble a little bit, and then Impact. I mean, New Japan just comes in and wrecks everybody.
Yeah, the money in this equation, honestly, between these two companies, the money in the equation is New Japan.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I want the world to witness what happens in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Because we've gone to shows. New Japan Pro Wrestling shows. Hands down, some of the best live wrestling I've ever seen.
I've never seen anything like it before until we went to that show they had in Long Beach. I've never seen the strong style of professional wrestling, and it was some of the most hard-hitting action I ever saw. And I'm like, this is the shit right here. But you see that strong style every week. You see it on NXT. You see it in AEW. We've always seen it in Impact, and then it's been there at Ring of Honor as well. You know,
right. So yeah, it definitely be cool for the world to see what they can do. So
absolutely.
And then plus them working into a TV. That's what I really want, them to work into a TV deal with AEW. Like get them on AEW TV and I want the world to see Okada. Because Jesus.
Jesus. I agree.
That guy can go. He can go.
Oh.
So yeah, him. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, just it is an interesting time to be a fan because of all the different organizations that are coming together working together. You know, that's what makes it, you know, just everything is fluid with the situation.
Correct. So yeah, it's an interesting time to be a wrestling fan. And then now with everybody having their own nights, you can catch different styles of wrestling on different nights. It's not really the same style of wrestling. So you have different versions of it. Different versions, different storylines, different styles on different nights. And it's like a buffet, really.
Like literally since we've been here in Texas, you know, waiting for our house to be done. I'm going Peacock and watch the old shows, and I'm like, you know, it kind of renewed my interest and love for the business because watching Stone Cold get into it with Mr. McMahon, watching the Brothers of Destruction, you know, I watched all this shit when I was a kid, so to relive it again and see that, like I was watching the other day, I was like, you know, Crush and Macho Man. I know the story. I know what happened. You know, when Crush turned on Savage. But I'm like, damn, I got to watch this. You know, because this is some good shit. You know, I was watching the other day. I posted in the group. I watched Terry Funk on Shotgun Saturday Night with Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I remember when it happened. You know what I mean? So it's all good, man. It's like you know, when people say it's a good time to be a wrestling fan, they're not lying. It is a good time to be a fan.
It definitely is. Definitely.
Yeah.
So speaking of good segue too. Speaking of back to the old days, there's a new season of Dark Side of the Ring coming out. Pretty loaded show, pretty loaded season. They're kicking off the season with Brian Pillman, and I am very interested in that story. And what happened with him. They really do some good documentaries. The one they did on Chris Benoit was obviously much talked about. the Bruiser Brody story was talked about, and they went into detail on that. So I'm very interested in seeing. So the two I'm looking forward to out of this season is the premiere show, Brian Pillman, and the Ultimate Warrior, who's also going to be on this season. So what are you looking forward to out of the season?
Well, I'm looking forward to the Ultimate Warrior. I was a fan of the Warrior when I was a kid, and then I, got older, realized what a piece of shit he was. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to that one. But they also have A&E has been doing some biographies lately on WWE superstars, and one of them is going to be So I just watched the Stone Cold Steve Austin biography when it dropped. That one was pretty good. They just did one for Roddy Piper. I think it was last night.
That one.
Yeah, they got Macho. They got Macho Man coming up. They got Ultimate Warriors coming up. They also have Shawn Michaels coming up.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're doing a lot of stuff right now with these superstars. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Pillman, especially when they explore the whole loose cannon gimmick where he was pretty much working everybody. And I just watching the shows and just the quality of work that they do on Dark Side of the Ring, the amount of detail they go into, especially with the Benoit murder suicide, and then what they did with Owen Hart's story.
Yep.
And they had the kids on there, and I remember Martin Kennedy saying at the Hall of Fame that Oj should be here and all that. And I got to watch the documentary when Oj was talking. Oj doesn't want to be there. He don't want to be there. He's not even a fan of professional wrestling at all. I think why the hell are you guys doing this shit? That's pretty much what I got from him. Right. He just he's a smart guy, he's a doctor and all that. So he wants something to do with it. He doesn't want to go up there. The only memories he has of his dad with wrestling is him dying.
That's a horrible memory. Yeah, that's a horrible way to remember your dad.
Yeah, and just to know that Martha took the kids up there to the catwalk where Owen fell and all that, and to look down, and he was like, he must have been terrified to
on his way down. Yeah,
So it's like, I mean, hey, it sucks that Owen probably will never be in the Hall of Fame. But he's in other Hall of Fame because I think Martha does. I think Martha will have things to do as far as with other wrestling companies with regards to Owen, but she will never have anything to do with WWE. I think that's where it comes down to.
That's completely understandable.
If AEW said tomorrow we want to put him in the AEW Hall of Fame, or Impact wants to put Owen Hart in the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, I think she'd go for it. She would be okay with that because it's a genuine thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like WWE. She still has a lot of animosity against them for how they handle the situation. I don't blame them.
Yeah, no, and you can see it with some of the Hall of Famers. It's like a cash grab almost. So yeah, I don't blame her for feeling that way. Hopefully they can mend fences because he does belong in the Hall of Fame. He really does.
I mean, I'm looking like this, dude. I mean, and like I said, we didn't even talk about this, but I gotta get off I gotta just say how I feel about it. So
say what you feel.
Yeah, so we were talking last time. We were talking about the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, and I say, these guys deserve to come out to WrestleMania and get a pop and whatever. Okay, and this is one thing I take away from this. I really honestly think that Hogan is done, brother. Like,
whoa, hold up, back up. Why are you saying that?
It just he doesn't have the same appeal that he once had, because I think it's just too much crap that surrounds him. Hogan's even mentioned himself in different interviews he's done. He said he doesn't understand how come the wrestlers are not so forthcoming with him when he comes to visit. He says, Seth Rollins come talk to him, and some of the guys will talk to him, but a lot of people are kind of standoffish when he's around, and he doesn't understand that. And I'm like,
well, half of that is reputation, right?
Well, it's reputation, but the other part of it is you fucking said, you said what you said on the fucking video. So people aren't gonna forget that. So it's kind of like when I'm out there, when I'm watching the show, and he's out there, doing, well, let me tell you something, Titus. And I'm like, this shit is tired, man. It's like this shit is corny as hell. Like you're now becoming a parody of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a parody now. When you came out the other night, you were Hollywood. You could have kept the fucking belt back there, but you came out as Hollywood, NWO, with the black beard and all that. Hey, that was cool. You know what I mean? But when you go into this Hulk Hogan diatribe of, say your prayers, eat your vitamins and believe in yourself and all that horse shit.
Nobody believe that shit no more.
Nobody wants to hear that bullshit. You hear they were born in the stadium. You know what I mean? So it's a parody.
So is that half of that is reputation? The other half I was gonna say is it's a new generation of wrestling fan, bro. Like a lot of people are too old for that shit now, or too young to know who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Like
I agree with that to a certain degree. Because what the network has done, I mean, Kevin Nash said it best when he was on stage. He says you'll have kids coming there now, little kids, and they're too sweet to me, and they're wearing NWO shirts. So
right,
I just think people are tired of him.
No,
that's
true.
what it is. People are just because it's the same shit. It's the same stale routine. It's just it reminded when I was watching him the other night, I didn't get excited about Hogan. Because I already know what's gonna happen. He's gonna come out there with the bolas on, and let me tell you something, brother. And no one gives a fuck, bro. No, you know what I mean. No one cares.
People don't care about that shit no more.
No, if you were come out there as Hollywood and you were cool, then that's a different story. But when you come out there, let me tell you something, brother, and WrestleMania and yada 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 and blah 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 and fuck you. No, it's done, bro.
It's over. Let it go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he says, I wonder, brother, why they have a problem. Well, we got a problem. You fucking said you are racist to a certain degree. So I wonder why people would have a problem with you, brother.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be associated with that shit.
No. I get it. Times, I mean, he should shit. Look, Ric Flair is another one, and I ain't gonna make this whole show not about the race and all that, because it's not about that. It's just about, dude, next time you're on television, just please come out as Hollywood Hogan and keep that bullshit in the back.
Yeah,
your red and yellow bolas.
Hollywood Hogan is always gonna be cool.
Well, exactly.
So just stay Hollywood Hogan. Then you could be yourself. You know what I mean? You can be yourself. Nobody's gonna give a fuck.
You can be a heel and not have to worry about putting on this fucking facade.
Right. So yeah. So moving on, we had the WWE wrestlers had filed a lawsuit. Several ex-WWE wrestlers have filed a lawsuit.
Right.
That stated WWE failed to protect them from head injury, and that injury led to brain damage. That case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided not to hear the case. Ultimately, it's good for WWE, but then again, it's horrible for WWE in the sense that there's still going to be wrestlers that claim they failed to protect them, blah, blah, blah. And now they have permanent brain damage. Hey, what else can be done?
Hey, let me tell you a story real quick. It's about this subject. So, me and my partner, a friend of mine, his name is Steve Urick, and we used to do a podcast. used to be a podcast for his website, Gurry.net. So, in our old wrestling group, there was Vito LaGrasso in there.
Big Vito. Big Vito's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, Big Vito's in there
already, bro.
Yeah, but I had to shut him down. About something. So, Vito was one of the people that was involved in his concussion lawsuit and all this, shit that's going on.
He's alleged that shit for years too.
Yeah, but so I asked Vito, just asked him a question. He was up there going on and on and on about WWE, right? So I said, hey, Vito, I said, were you also going to go after Turner Broadcasting and Paul Heyman as well for the injuries that the injuries that you sustained in their rings? You know what he told me? I can't believe you'd ask me
that. I mean, it's true though.
But the people were coming on thread. They were like, "No." It's like, "No, Frankie has a point there. Why are you going to go after them?" I can't believe this. Believe it, motherfucker.
Yeah, no,
that's true. You want to blame it all on Vince? You want to blame it all on Vince? Why are you not going after Time Warner? You wrestled in their ring. Why are you not going after Paul Heyman? You wrestled in his ring. You can't tell me that all these injuries, these concussions that you got, or whatever is wrong with you, these concussions, aka I didn't save my fucking money. Okay? You can't tell me that you basically are going to blame all this on Vince when you wrestled majority of the time in WCW and ECW. You remember the fucking Baldies. I remember you getting your fucking head caved in with Singapore Kings and shit and steel chairs with New Jack. And then going over to WCW and pretty much doing the same shit. Except more toned down. So you're going to blame all this on Vince? Come on.
Now, he's just one case. In Big Vito's case, that's bullshit. And probably a few other cases that is bullshit, right?
How can they blame WWE? They said WWE failed to protect him, dude.
When they're doing this shit their whole career.
Did you not go to wrestling school?
The only cases I would say that to is people that specifically, and I don't know the whole list, but it's more than 50 wrestlers that filed the lawsuit that specifically wrestled only for WWE. Those are the people with legitimate claims. Anybody else, if you wrestled in a different promotion, I agree with you. If you wrestled in a different promotion, you have to go after those folks too, because you were doing. The reason you got to WWE is because you were doing some off the wall shit like that in a different promotion. So
that's my whole point, and that's I just simply asked him that question, and he asked that was a bad question that I asked him. I'm like, it's not really a bad question, dude. It's a good question. Are you taking the same measures that you're taking right now with WWE? Are you going to take them with Turner Broadcasting? Even though World Championship Wrestling no longer exists as a company, they still had the Universal Wrestling Corporation at the time when this lawsuit was filed. They still had the Universal Wrestling Corporation, which was the entity of WCW. Were you going to go after them? Were you going to go after Turner Broadcasting and get some money from them? But he got so offended that I would dare ask him that question. I asked you. Just like Ahmed Johnson. Ahmed Johnson was on the list for this concussion lawsuit. Ahmed Johnson. And I'm thinking to myself, Ahmed, how many fucking people did you hurt when you were at WWF?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many people did you fucking hurt? What bad attitude did you have when you were at WWF? And now you want to come back at Vince? I'm not a Vince McMahon defender. It's all right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
so. I mean, some of them have probably have legitimate cases. That what they should have done is, okay, how many people, like you just mentioned, how many of you people worked for WWF from this time to that time, and focus on them.
Right.
That's what you do. But don't come here with this bullshit trying to blame your whole fucking career.
I would even say this: if you had claims like that. And even if you did wrestle for a different promotion, give me a timeline. Like from this time to this time, I was doing this. I sustained multiple injuries. I was not protected. I didn't see that anywhere in the lawsuit. It was just a blanket statement from more than 50 wrestlers.
Give
me timelines.
And let me tell you the problem that you're going to run into with that, right? So all these people in these lawsuits, right? They all wrestle for different promotions. So you might have some people that wrestle for, let's say, they wrestle for the Von Erichs.
Right.
And they win, and then they wrestle for Verne Gagne. Okay. Then they wrestle for Jim Crockett Jr.
Right.
So who then do you go after to sue for that?
Right.
You can't just
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't just sue WWE.
If you had a timeline for when these injuries occurred while you were working with the WWF/WWE. If you had a timeline for when your injuries occurred and they failed to protect you, or even if you like sustained a head injury and they still put you on a different card, right? Like, give me times that this shit happened. Not just say from like my whole career was fucked because I was working with WWF.
It's like this too, man. It's like, you have a situation as well where what are these guys doing after they get released from WWE? They usually go to the Indies, right? Or they'll go to TNA or something like that. So you're gonna sue TNA as well? So I think in this situation, I feel bad for the talent because I think, in all honesty, the lawyer took advantage of them and tried to say that this is going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. McMahon's doesn't want this publicity. He's going to go ahead and give a settlement, and that'll be it.
That motherfucker don't
No, Jerry McDevitt would never allow that to happen.
Right. He don't fold for shit. But I agree with you there too. I do feel, especially the talent that had legitimate cases, right?
Right.
Like it was blanketed, and that fucked a whole bunch of them because the people with real legit cases, now you're grouped and you're grouped with them, and that shit is a fight. You know what I'm saying?
They had Barry Darsow, for instance, Demolition Smash. Barry Darsow was on that list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Barry Darsow should be going after Time Warner because what was the last part of his career spent? It was in WCW.
Yep.
I mean, shit. Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie. Hey, he was in the Federation, but he left because he had the whole. He was allergic to shellfish. Had that whole thing going on. That's when they brought in Brian Adams, brought him in to be crushed. So I'm not, like I'm saying, man. I just think this guy, he tricked all these wrestlers and think it was going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. McMahon is a PG company now. They're public. They don't want this kind of publicity. They're going to fold.
Right.
And that's not what happened. I feel bad for him. And I think if they, my opinion is this: go out there and get a legitimate lawyer that's actually going to go out there and fight for you, and we might see something different. I don't think WWE should be let off the hook for nothing. I just think they need to go. I think they need to go about doing it a different way. You need to not only sue Vince, sue all these other motherfuckers. Sue Time Warner. They'll fold.
I think that case would have been right. That case would have been a whole lot stronger had they did that.
Right.
Because now you're going after multiple companies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That case would have been a lot stronger.
Right. So I was just saying, I just say dust it off, man, and try it again.
Yeah. Shit. And then go after everybody in the second lawsuit. Go after everybody.
Right.
So yeah. So well, that's a great segue from head injuries to a whole event that's probably going to be full of them. Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
It's going to be a one-match show. I think that's next week, right?
Yes.
May the 6th?
I think that's next week. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be a whole event in itself. So we have the Inner Circle going up against Pinnacle.
Right.
Which, let me talk about Pinnacle real quick. They need to get Shawn Spears the fuck out of Pinnacle, bro. They need to get him out of there.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah. They need to get him out of Pinnacle.
Why?
I am not a fan of Shawn Spears and Pinnacle. He's great, don't get me wrong. I just don't think he belongs in Pinnacle. Shawn Spears needs to be on his own, man.
Well,
he needs to be on his own.
Let me tell you something that's wrong with Pinnacle, right?
I know where you're going. I know where you're going, and I agree. Before you go there, I agree.
I don't think you know where I'm going.
I know where you're going. Go ahead.
So, a few months ago, they were teasing this storyline between Wardlow and MJF, where Wardlow was basically doing stuff that he had no choice but to do it, and then he does it, and then they just drop the whole angle. So my point is that the entirety of the group, when he says, "Oh, I was building my own inner circle," when the fuck were you doing this? You know, and all of a sudden now Wardlow is on your side, which Wardlow, if they had done it, because MJF had so much heat, if they would have kept this going, then they would have been like, you know what? This dude here is going to be fucking Batista. We're going to do this whole evolution thing where Triple H turned on Batista, and basically with Wardlow is going to continue to get fucking shit from MJF until he says, "Fuck you, dude, I'm done," and power bombs the shit out of MJF. You imagine what kind of fucking pop that would have got if they had a crowd there? That would have been a pop.
I agree.
So,
I already said I agree.
To me, the original Blood and Guts match was supposed to be Inner Circle versus the Elite.
Yes.
That's where it was going. And they brought Pinnacle into this, which I'm like, you know, if they had been smart about this, they would have said, you know, we're going to have Blood and Guts. We're going to say Blood and Guts for pay-per-view. And we're going to call it Blood and Guts. Okay? Let's make some money with this shit, right? Why are we doing this for free TV? Have we not learned from Goldberg versus Hogan on Nitro?
Yes. Now, my question, is this a teaser for a pay-per-view to come? Because as we talked about earlier in the show, you could do Bullet Club versus Bullet Club, Blood and Guts. That could be a pay-per-view.
That could be a pay-per-view, but they're not going to do it in the cage because they're doing it in the cage now. So the next time if Impact or not Impact, if AEW, look, WCW would only do War Games one time a year, and that was in the fall at Fall Brawl. That's the only time they do it. So we're not going to see another cage match in AEW until probably next year.
This is
double
true.
Cage.
This is true.
Just like we won't see any more rings exploding until next year.
We don't need to see that shit no more.
Right. Well, yeah, but yeah.
It was cool. It was cool for that one time. Don't do that shit no more. Don't do it no more. It's done.
So I think ultimately with Blood and Guts, I honestly think it's going to be a pretty damn good match. Because you got a bunch of dudes in there. I know Sean's, but you got a bunch of dudes in there that can work. So it's going to be good. And my opinion is Jericho has to. They have got to have MJF and Pinnacle have got to go over the Inner Circle in this match.
They will. I believe they will.
If they don't, it'll be all for nothing.
Yeah, I think they will. What I do want to happen, and I shat on Shawn Spears a little bit. I think for this match though, he's good. But I think for the Pinnacle as a whole, it's just in my brain. I see the 4 Horsemen plus 1. I think in my brain. So I'm seeing MJF, Wardlow, and FTR. Right.
Okay.
I'm seeing those 4 guys. I'm seeing those 4 guys.
Let me ask you a question. So I hear what you're saying, but let me ask you like this: when you look back at Evolution, you had Ric Flair, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Batista. Who was, in your opinion, because right now you're talking about MJF, Wardlow, FTR, Shawn Spears. And you're going to tell you matches there in a manager role.
Right.
But with Evolution, right, who did everybody say the Wink Wink was in Evolution?
The Wink Wink was?
Who did everybody say the weak link in Evolution was? The weakest guy that wasn't going to be shit.
Randy Orton.
Right. And it turned out Randy Orton was the guy who had the longer career over Batista.
Okay.
So
you're saying Shawn Spears is that guy in that role.
I think Shawn Spears is that guy in that role. Yes, because you completely wasted Wardlow, in my opinion, when you dropped the whole angle that Wardlow was doing.
Yeah.
Unless they do something in the match. Yeah, I mean, because we all thought like no, they're pushing the wrong guy. It's going to be, but just like when it came down to the Shield, who's the weakest link in the Shield? Oh,
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins was the weakest link. Oh, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the one they pushed. Roman Reigns was the second one they pushed. Dean Ambrose was not pushed like that.
Pushed at all. Yeah.
It's like if you look at the NWO, the original three, Hogan, Hall, and Nash. Which motherfucker there is the workhorse that can work with anybody to have good matches? Scott Hall. Who was one that pushed? Kevin Nash.
Damn it, you make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that you make sense.
Right.
This is true though.
Yep.
This is true. God, why you gotta make sense like that? Now I gotta look at him and be like, I gotta reassess.
Hey, same thing with I want to keep going with it, but same thing with the Hardy Boys. Who was the one that was the most popular? Jeff. Who was the one that could work? Matt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Damn it. You make a lot of sense, man. Now I got to reassess it. Because historically, that is very fucking true.
Yep.
Because everybody you said, I'm like, that's the Wink Link push.
So that's the thing about that. That's the interesting thing about, say, like the Four Horsemen, right? Because there's been so many different versions of the Horsemen, you know. And I'm not gonna rag on them. It's very sad what's happening with Steve and Michael right now.
Oh, Mongo, yeah. Shout out to
very sad. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But in saying that, Michael sucked ass when he was in the ring.
Mongo was fucking. Whoa.
He was horrible out there. He tried, but he was fucking terrible. Bad, so if you look at the Four Horsemen, that version of the Horsemen with Flair, Anderson, Benoit, and Mongo was the weak link in that one. He was the weak one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you go back to the other version of the Horsemen with Flair, Anderson, Sid, and Barry Windham, it was Sid who was the weak one. But that's the one they pushed, was Sid.
Yeah. True. Damn it. This is what I'm saying. This is all facts. This is all facts.
I'm just saying, give the brother a chance. You know what I mean?
All right. I will. That's why I said now I got to go back and reassess.
Exactly. Because he's going to go out there, he's going to tear it up, man.
I think he will get pushed. I think he'll get pushed massively. And his wife is a free agent. So.
Right. Who's his wife again?
Peyton Royce.
Oh, copy. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, she's obviously going to end up at AEW.
Obviously. I think her.
Wherever she goes, Billy Kay will follow. Watch.
Yeah. I think Billy Kay end up going to Impact, honestly.
I don't know, man. I don't think she's going to be one to switch from her bestie.
Really? I mean, they do have a working relationship, but
I think she's going to be AEW.
Okay.
Because AEW needs help. They're doing okay a little bit, but once they get that dude out of the women's division, they'll be fine.
Now they do have their women's division is coming along nicely.
Thanks to
You
Thunder
know who
Rosa.
I really want? Yeah, thanks to Thunder Rosa. You know who I really want to? I want to see her go against Sheeta just to see what happens. Jade Cargill.
She's the next big thing.
Yeah, I want to see what happens.
Yeah, she's the next big thing, and another one too is Red Velvet.
Yep.
But where the hell is Swole?
Swole has she's out, but she has a condition. I forgot what, because she tweeted about it. She has a condition that affects her, and during the whole COVID thing, like she wasn't taking her meds for it, and the condition came back. And it's something with her. It's a condition that affects her body in some form.
Well, hope she gets over that and comes back, because I think that they're gonna have a bunch of. They got Chris Statlander there as well. That's another one that I'm a fan of hers.
Statlander's back.
Britt Baker. I mean, he was not a fan of the Doctor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think they got some pretty good shit going on.
Is getting there, bro.
I think
I think Swole came back last night on AEW Dark. I think so. Yeah. But yeah, she's been out for a while, and that's why. So shout out to Big Swole. I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah, I'm a fan of her too. Yeah. I was a huge fan of her too when she was doing that promo with Nyla Rose and called her brother.
she be shooting from the hip too.
Yeah, so what you gonna do, brother? That's what she said. That's what I said. Well, what you gonna do, bro?
Yeah, she don't be bullshitting. She tell her like it is. So
absolutely.
So yeah, man. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
All right, cool.
Not this time.
Not this time? All right, cool. So shout out to the DFPN for the platform.
You know what? Hold your horses there real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna shoot on something right quick. So I went to this place today, called Bill Miller's Barbecue right here in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
What a bunch of bullshit. What a bunch of bland bullshit. All right. Potato salad, bland. No fucking flavoring. I had to dilute the shit with barbecue sauce.
It's okay. We'll be there soon.
Yeah, well, yeah. But it's just a bunch of bullshit. Right? So you got bullshit like that. I'll order a chicken Alfredo from Domino's, and they don't put no fucking sauce in the shit. Just dry ass penny pasta.
Bro, Domino's is trash anyway.
Oh well, look, listen. You don't got that many choices. It's either that or you got, sometimes I'll cook here, but a lot of times I don't want to do that. I just,
right.
I got something doing. So you got Whataburger, okay? You got, Taco Cabana, shit like that. But I'm like, man, I mean, the brisket was cool.
I forgot to tell you, Mexican food outside of California ain't that great, bro.
Oh no, Taco Cabana is a shit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's the shit. Okay, it's the shit because we actually have real ones that migrate over here and start their business.
Oh, okay. Oh, hold up. What's the name of that again? Taco Cabana.
Taco Cabana.
All right, I'm a log that.
It's the shiznits. When we first got here, I had a quesadilla. It was the size of a fucking pizza, and I was like, damn, I took a picture of this shit. You know what I mean? Because I had never seen anything like it. So, yeah, man, but, Bill Miller's Barbecue, I'm going to have that shit a thumbs down. It was garbage. It was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, not all barbecue is good barbecue, man. So
Nah. Nope. Surely is not. But other than that, it's another day here in the Lone Star State, and we're still draped up and dripped out.
God damn it. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man. Thanks to the DFPN for the platform. Thanks to the wrestling fans. Tune in next time. This is Wrestling with My Thoughts here on the DFPN. Don't forget, we are on Patreon. The merch is on the Teespring. Go to www.teespring.com. Search That Feeling Podcast. For the people in the group, we will be doing a drawing this week. So keep tuning in. Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Be productive.
Oh, Michael, this is going to be fun to watch.
This is Wrestling with My Thoughts.